Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how to use Jamboard here to create a virtual whiteboard and learning space. So to get started, we're going to go to jamboard.google.com. Now, if you get to this point and it says that this service is not enabled, or that you're not allowed access to this service, you're going to have to talk to your G Suite administrator or your district administrator to get that service turned on. It's turned off by default and there's no charge, but it is something that does need to be enabled within your domain. So once you get into here, we're going to find that at the bottom here we have this orange plus. So we're going to hit this to create a new jam. Now, when a jam loads on the web, we're going to see a few things. So the first thing is, if you actually have a physical Jamboard, so a Jamboard is like an oversized TV on wheels that you can write on, you can actually open this session right onto a Jamboard. And then up here at the top, we have a frame viewer or explorer. So we can add frames to the left, we can add frames to the right, we can duplicate a frame, or we can delete it all from this view here. We can also change the background of a frame, so we have a dot option, some lines, a grid, you can create graph paper, all sorts of different things. And then we also have the ability to draw on this, to erase, select items that have been placed onto it, put sticky notes on here, add an image, or use the laser pointer. So within the pen tool, you've got a few different options. You've got a regular pen, a marker, a highlighter, and a brush. You're stuck with these colors on the web version, but if you have the mobile version, then there's a lot more options that you have access to. So if we throw into here an image, so I can do a Google image search, map of Canada. I can select an image. Now I can duplicate an image, I can rotate an image, I can enlarge the image, and then I can annotate on top of this image to add things in. So I can be like, oh, here I am, I'm in Montreal. So you can also write on here. If you have a touchscreen, you can write things. So if you're going to do math, like 3 plus 4 divided by 2 is equal to like x is equal to, and then you can do a few things that are pretty cool in here. Now, where this gets really clever is when we share it. Now, sharing it allows us to add multiple people. So I can add a student here, so like student 1 here. Now I can allow the student to either edit or to view my jam. So by allowing them to edit it, I can give them access to collaborate on it with me. By allowing them to view it, they just get to see me drawing on top of it. So I can send this to the student. They're now able to add to this particular jam session. I can actually create frames so that they can have their own area to write on. You can use a laser pointer if you want to actually explain things. The laser pointer goes away. You can be like, what is X? And then the laser pointer disappears after a few seconds. If I want to throw in a note, I can do so. So I can put complete this map. You can have a background, no background. If you have no background, then it just essentially becomes a text box that you can overlay on things. You don't have many options, like you can't change the font, but it's generally pretty good for what you need, and the again, the mobile app is way better in terms of its flexibility. So where things get really cool here is when I have a Google Classroom class. Now, my Google Classroom class, I just opened the wrong thing here. Now can't get rid of this. My Google Classroom class, if I go to Classroom, and if I go into and create an assignment, and I call this Jamboard, what I can actually do here is I can add from Google Drive the actual file from Jamboard, and I can get Google Drive to take control of my sharing permissions for all of the students that I have in that particular classroom. So I can make it so everybody in the class can view, or everybody in the class can edit my Jamboard session. So I don't even need to worry about the sharing permissions in Jamboard. I can get Classroom to take control of that for me. Now, where things get really good is when I start to bring in the mobile app. So what I'm going to do here is, and you're not going to be able to see this, but if I open Jamboard on my phone, I can open up the jam that I'm currently working on here, and I can, on that screen, I can actually add drive content. So I can choose something that's in my Google Drive that I have as a Google Slides presentation, and sometimes you need to give it a second to load up. And once you've got it to load up, which this is clearly there's quite a few slides in here. So once it's loaded up, if you double tap on it and it wiggles, it means that it hasn't yet loaded. What I can do is I can tap on these particular slides, and I can get it to throw these slides into my Jamboard session, so that I can look at how to annotate on them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to throw a couple of slides in. Now, I've added these slides from my phone, but now that I've added them from my phone, I'm able to actually move these slides around. I'm able to resize them if I want to. I'm able to rotate them, and I can even annotate on top of them in the web version. So I can highlight a few things. Now, what you can see over here in the screenshot, in this slide that I've added here, is this is actually a screenshot of some of the things that I can do in the mobile version that you can't that you don't have access to in the web one. So you've got a pen, a marker, handwriting to text, draw to shape, auto draw. You can add content from Drive, you can add sticky notes, photos. So these are all the things that you can do in the mobile version that you don't have access to in the web version. So it definitely suggests that if you've got a Chromebook that supports Android apps, or if you've got an iPad, you download the versions that work on both of those devices, and I think you'll find it a lot easier to use. So hopefully this gives you a quick introduction in how to use Jamboard. So much power here for use as a digital whiteboard that you can use in a Meet. You can share your screen. You can be working on it. You can have it open in another tab whilst you're all talking in the background. Loads of applications for it. So hopefully this was useful and interesting. Let me know if you have any questions.